what would Rima tell her 20-year-old self?
Tell the 20-year-old self, 20-year-old, get out of that company. It's been 2 months. Don't. No. What would she tell?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, Rima. Keeping after 1 hour of conversating.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. Type.
We're
Do
finally
you wanna
getting
do you wanna do you wanna do your own introduction?
Like again. Okay.
I mean, you haven't really done one.
Okay.
Also, just to say
I'm
again.
Rima. I'm originally Algerian and born and raised in Abu Dhabi. So I've got businesses. I've been in business and I've been working for myself for most of my life. I've only worked in the corporate world for about 6 months.
Mhm.
That was it for me. Mubadala when they first started. And
What is it?
Mubadala.
Mubadala,
At
yes.
the time. It was great,
Yes.
great. Good memories, but not for me.
Yeah.
Not the company, just corporate.
Yeah.
And then I went and built a bunch of different companies, did a bunch of different things. Now I've got coffee shops and chocolate brand called Macau in
Why
Abu Dhabi.
Macau? Why that name?
Macau because it rhymes with cacao and it was inspired by the macaw, the bird, parrot,
Oh, okay.
colorful parrot.
Oh, okay. Because I kept wondering, like, why'd you call it Macau?
Well, the first representations and the first pictures they had of cacao and cocoa bean
Yeah.
was always a big parrot on it.
Yeah.
So it's very much associated with it,
Yeah.
heritage-wise. Yeah. So took it from there, and then it also had. It really looks really good together. You got the MA, the K in the middle, and then AW. So it's like you flip them. I just thought it was cool. It was unique. I still think that every day.
So you're happy with the name.
Yes, I.
But if you'd like to be known in the market for something, what would you like to be known for?
You mean in my chocolate brand or what I do?
Both.
Okay, so what I am is I'm a coach and I'm
Okay.
a speaker. And my mission is to reconnect people back to their heart. So to live soulful lives, to live from authenticity, to live authentic lives to themselves that are fulfilling. So reconnect them, and that's what I do in my talks, in my writing, my facilitation, my coaching on one-on-one. Been doing this for 14 years now.
14 years.
Yeah.
Wow, mashallah. But so why did you pick that switch from corporate to doing your own thing?
Well, I started coaching then, but I always wanted to have I always wanted to be independent, and that was the most important thing for me. And I think
Yeah.
it's super
Why?
important. Why? So that I can absolutely rely on my own resources if needed. So women, different than men in different ways, but
Yeah.
women seek safety. Safety means I need to feel that I'm safe in the world, secure
Yeah.
in the world. And one of the ways to feel that is to say, can I rely on myself? And I need to prove it to myself. So it's not always about acquiring the resources and saying, here they are in the bank account or, this house or whatever. But it's about proving to ourselves in actuality, in fact, that I can secure myself, that I can create things and I can, create the money, the wealth, the businesses, etc., that are securing the investments, etc. And another thing for me that was very important is my mission in the world, which is really my heart mission. I wanted to keep it pure. Pure means I wanted to know that everything that I do when it comes to my service to humans, to people, my coaching, all of that was never, the decisions were never based on the financials. So that I could say yes when I need to say yes to something and no to something that didn't feel true to me. So, and for me to feel that, I needed to feel that I had everything else, which is the money, the finances taken care of through my investments, my businesses, whatever. So that's taken care of. So whatever I'm doing here, I'm doing it purely. And I'm not doing it because, this would sell more, this would do more. I'm not doing it for selling.
Would you say it's because you're trying to maybe the business and whatever it is that you're doing on the side, the entrepreneurial side of things, is just to buy yourself the time and the freedom to do to really live your purpose elsewhere?
I think it's to unclog the vessel.
Okay.
Which is what we spoke about. Unclogging the vessel, meaning removing any fears that would make me compromise the message, the mission.
Okay.
And once that's taken care of on one side, and it's not like this is something that I'm only doing for that, not at all. I'm super invested. Love creating. I'm a creator, and at heart, I love
Yeah.
creating. So it's like I will do everything from the design of the shop for the brand, creating all the recipes, everything, and I really get involved in all of that. For the music choice, the uniforms, everything. I love it so much. I love creating. Now, do I want to run the business? No, because that's not the best use of my energy. That's not what I'm here to do. So
Yeah.
I'll hire people to run. I will stay in the creative aspect and the growth of the business, so business development and stuff, innovation. But I do not want to do much of the business part because
Yeah.
that's not what I'm here to do.
It's amazing. You're another book that I think you should read, and you're the embodiment of that, is the 80/20 rule.
Yeah, I know it.
And that's exactly what you're doing, I think. You're just focusing on your 20% and delegating the rest. Because your 20% is the things that you are perfect at and that you could achieve the best results in. And all that 80% is the noise and the time-consuming things that you feel, like you said, is going to disrupt your mission, your vision.
Correct.
So you just delegate this to
And I
the people.
think it's also like you can't. It's a work to get to that. So that's also earned. Nothing in life is just kind of handed, right?
Yeah.
So it's earned as well. So it's understanding that's what I want to get to, and that I understood that at a young age for different reasons. But I understood that at a young age I wanted to get to. Freedom was everything to me. Freedom meaning everything that I choose in my life comes from. That's what feels right to me. So I was
Yeah.
always guided by my heart. And I used to always pride myself on my mind. I was like, oh, I can create so many different
Yeah.
things. And I didn't understand that it was my heart's passion
Yeah.
that was creating everything. But yeah, so it's getting to that place where it's like, but first you got to go through all the other stages. So I know every single part of my business and business. I know every single thing in it. And I can do it if necessary. You have to know every single part of your business for you to then hire the right people to run it and
Yeah.
run the different parts of it.
Exactly. Did you feel like you had, or what? Let me ask you the question a different way. What was like the biggest challenge when you decided to take that switch from corporate to entrepreneurship? What was like the one thing that?
I think the
So it
same
was in
thing
the
as
way.
everybody. I was very young as well, so I did that when I was 20, almost 21.
Oh wow! Wait, you went into your own business at 21?
Yeah, well, I was working there, and I had
That's
started
a big move.
I started a business when I was there already.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, it's so
Are
funny.
you allowed to say this
I
on
don't know.
camera?
They'll forgive me. So I did, and I remember I had a moment where I was like, I had signed a deal with a very big company, and I was young, and it was so I signed a deal with a semi-government company as well.
A deal of what?
For the first company I had, which was the first ever company I had when I was 20, was a company that provided staff, like temporary staff,
Yeah.
for all sorts of exhibitions and events. And the thing is, at the time, licenses are not what they are now. Now you can go get a license in a day. At the time, there was only, LLC, establishment. You needed to have an Emirati partner. There's so many things.
But which
into
year
it.
was this?
Oh, wow. 2008.
Okay.
And so I got the deal. So I remember the guy calling me and telling me, "Mabruk," and I'm freaking out. And I'm freaking out because I'm like, I didn't get the license yet. Of course, I didn't tell him, but I'm like,
I'll manage.
and then I start getting on calls, and that thank God I had I had people show up, and I was like, my license is not coming out until a week from now. I need to send this man or whatever help me. So I figured it out. And then so the challenges were what? The challenges were learning on the damn field and going through these stresses.
Yeah.
And they were also just trusting in your ability, It's like,
Yeah.
it's that self-trust. And that was that reclamation of self-trust. Because especially at that young age, we're still coming from our parents' homes. Yeah. We still have that conditionment of, somebody else is responsible for me. Parents are always there. And
Yeah.
I caught that very quickly. And I was like, I want to know that I've got me. And yeah, and sometimes...
But it seems like you have support, you have supportive parents, like very supportive.
Yes, every parent is supportive in their own way. If you asked any parents, they'll tell you we're very supportive. Now,
Yeah.
is it the support that you needed, would have wanted, or whatever? Of course, you can always go on that. But the support you don't get, you feel yourself.
Yeah.
And the support you get, you appreciate.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes. So they were supportive in the way of, do your thing,
Yeah.
don't die, try and be healthy, eat. Did you eat today? Um,
Basics. Do you have
yeah,
siblings?
I do. I have a brother.
Really?
Yeah,
Just one
he's
brother.
hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah, funny
Is it
guy.
more of a joker than you, or
Oh, we both together. It's a comedy show, but he's
it's a
brilliant.
comedy?
He moved to a different country, so he moved to Canada,
Okay.
and he's got now a chicken farm that he built himself. He's absolutely brilliant. I'm so proud of him. He
You're
was
joking.
showing
He
me-
built a chicken
Yeah,
farm.
he got a ranch with a well. They grow their own stuff. Him and his wife and his kids. And he's got this beautiful chicken farm that he built. I'm like, when did you learn to build? What? He's like, let me show you. And he's taking me around. I was so.
Does
I
he
felt like-
does he send you chicken? Do you sell his chickens at your restaurant?
No, they're in Canada. I'm gonna get chickens from Canada.
Like,
You
it
see,
sounds like it's
you can't-
organic.
I couldn't even send him bukhur from here.
Why?
Canada.
Yeah,
It's like the
yeah, I
customs.
know.
You think I'm gonna get a chicken from there here? It's gonna be like a
I don't know. Maybe it's
political,
a special
accident.
chicken.
Yeah.
So what, from your experience, what does it take to build a successful brand in Dubai? If you had to put it in a few words.
Creativity.
Creativity.
Stop
Standing out.
copying. It's,
Peacocking.
it's about authenticity. No
Okay.
more. There's this land is the fastest land on earth at this time and age in terms of growth.
Yeah.
There's no country you can compare in
That's
terms
true.
of growth. So it's going really fast. Things are opening super fast. Buildings are popping up super fast. So we are really at an, in terms of offer, everything is on offer. You can find everything here. There isn't a thing you can point out you can't
Yeah.
find. It's all here. Now, the only thing that you can't replicate is singularity and authenticity,
Yeah, that's
which
true.
only can come from you. So if you want to do something that stands out, it needs to come from a place that is not copying, which
Yeah.
means you need to bring into existence what does not exist. And that's the only thing that does that is authenticity, creativity.
100%, I agree. But if you had to pick one valuable lesson, or maybe let's say the biggest mistake that you've done, what would you say?
The biggest mistake that I've done,
And what was the lesson behind it?
the lesson behind it, what was the biggest mistake I've done?
I'm sure there's something that you probably think of and you're like, oh my God, why did I do that?
Yes, a couple of my businesses at the beginning, because again, I was young and it's that self-trust. You want that companionship.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm going to do business with my friend. So you bring on board a friend, a close friend, right? Not because you're really understanding that they're bringing value the way you would choose a partner in business. So now if you're starting a business and you say, I need a partner, you would look for what they're bringing. So you'd say, I need finances. I don't have the finance. I'll get somebody who has the finances. Or I don't have the contacts they do. So
Yeah.
you bring someone who brings value. For me, it was just, I'm going to bring a friend on board just so that I can bounce ideas off and they're there and I don't feel alone in the project.
Okay.
And then they're taking 50%.
Okay.
And I was agreeing to that, even though it didn't feel right. It didn't feel
Yeah.
right. So eventually that, severed the relationships and, they felt useless in a way and they were, they were not able to kind of bring the value because they had nothing to do with the businesses, etc.
Exactly.
They just wanted to do something. So it was a mismatch. And then when I put my finger on it, which was like, okay, so it's just basically I'm afraid of doing it by myself. And once I freed myself from that fear, I soared because it was like, okay, I'm not doing it by myself. I am running this, creating this, but I'm hiring a team.
Yeah.
And everybody's getting fairly paid what they need to get paid for the value they're adding.
Yeah.
And then it was great. So yeah, the process of business is wonderful for personal growth because it's never about what you end up creating or doing. And that's what I think I was somewhat addicted to. I've always been addicted to the human mind and just personal development.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the two schools that will make you grow the fastest are intimate relationships and business, creating a project.
That's true.
Because you are literally shedding fears, shedding so many different things and rearranging so much in you in those two containers.
That's true.
Yeah.
But what would you say was the hardest business to start from all of them?
The hardest business to start. Oh, yes. I had a company. This is so funny. I had a company. So I was the first in Abu Dhabi to do pop-up events. So I
Okay.
started a company that was doing all these pop-up festivals for activating different areas. And I was doing some work with DCT, which is the Ministry of Culture and Development. And at the time, pop-up events, basically the idea was I could sense that there were so many people that were entrepreneurs and doing things, creating brands and all sorts of different things. They didn't have a platform or a place to sell. And we didn't have Shopify at the time. There wasn't, you can just go and open somewhere, it costs a gazillion, and then you need to get a partner. And it was so complicated to do that. So I was like, if we do these events for like 2 days, 3 days, make 100 vendors,
Yeah.
food, music, whatever. And there wasn't much going on culturally as well in terms of activities.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, it's a win-win-win-win-win. Let's do it. And I thought it was just a walk in the park. And then then I realized that the differences in culture as well in Abu Dhabi that we had at the time, and going to explain that to the ministry. So it was a novel idea at the time. It was before all the other markets, and it's like, go and explain to them. So they were like, so it's an exhibition? Not really. So it's like what is festival? What is like music? So it's like, you're trying to explain to them. And it was like, how do you communicate a novel idea to people who have not experienced that just yet?
Yeah.
Who are still kind of stuck in their vision of things.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
not that they don't want to help you. On the contrary, they really wanted to help. They were just clueless, question mark.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I communicate the vision to them? And for them to understand how beneficial it is for everybody in general, that it's not hurting anybody, that nobody's doing anything wrong, and that it's a win-win-win-win-win.
Yeah.
And so it was that communication, and then everything had to be in Arabic as well. So I chose and decided to make it really simple and to use the world of images. And at the time, we weren't really doing that. It was like, they were like, come and explain to us what it is and write all of what it's going to
Oh
be.
my God.
So what I did is I made an album. I made just photos. So I made a big board with a lot of photos of what it's going to be like. And I made sure to add all the different culturally, the cultures of Abu Dhabi at the time, families hanging out there. And it's just images with one word. It's basically Instagram carousel before Instagram carousel. And that's how I presented it to them. And then they're like, this looks very fun. I was like, exactly. That's what I've been trying to say for a month. Can I get the permit now? Anyway, so it was just bringing on board people who don't know, but they're trying to do their job, obviously.
Yeah.
So they have to really meticulously go like, who the hell are you? What are you doing? And what is these people? What do you mean vendors? Do they have licenses? Are they making this at home? Are they making it there? What is it? Where are they bringing it from? And once I did that, it was so amazing. And a lot of the vendors there then are now giant brands in the UAE.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
just
I'm actually
10%.
surprised that this is even like harder than starting a restaurant, because I would imagine that I thought you were gonna say starting the restaurant was the hardest one.
So I love cooking. I've been cooking since I was a kid. My mom is a celebrity chef, so cooking's been at home, like we always,
Yeah.
So I love cooking. For me, I was happy. I was like, all these damn recipes that I have for centuries, I'm gonna adjust them, etc., and I'll get to create.
Reimagine.
So for me, the creation part is the easy part. So anything that comes to me as a challenge is, thank God, what I've been delegating. I'm lucky to delegate more of now. Is everything that has to do with bureaucratic and the practical stuff, and that I don't enjoy. I can do it. I don't enjoy it, so I try to stay away from it. But starting a restaurant is it's challenging in.
But it was up in your alley, so it didn't really feel
I enjoyed
like
it. I enjoyed it.
Really
It was like
feel
food
it's
is another
tough.
creation. It's a language of love. It's like you're making art and you're putting flavors together, and
It is.
beautiful.
But what's the biggest misconception about owning a restaurant?
I think a lot of people, you hear a lot of people say, I want to have a cafe or a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like it's that dream.
Yeah.
But it represents something. So whenever we dream of a space, usually we dream of something we want more of as an experience in our life within. So now we're going spiritual and we're going to the experiences we want to experience in life. Most people will say, I'd love to have a cafe one day and people coming in. And what they're saying is, I'd love to experience more socializing, more connection in my life. And I enjoy spaces where people get to connect and da-da-da-da-da. So I think the misconceptions about restaurants is that once you've just set it up, you just don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
You've got a menu, you've got tables, you just get out and you've got a restaurant and it runs itself. It doesn't run itself. It doesn't. So you got to keep innovating. You got to keep, bringing in the people. You got to keep the consistency and the standards here.
What's the hardest part about the operations in the restaurant? Standards.
Because you are dealing with a team who are
Yeah.
working with food, with something that they're making constantly. It's not a product that is made once a year and then you're selling it for the year. It's every single day that meal is being made again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And if your team is not motivated by your standards, which means they understand that that is the number one thing, the standards are naturally going to go down. They just are. And the work with standards is you got to be a little crazy, and that's kind of my policy.
Yeah.
Is if my team doesn't think that I'm too much and crazy, I'm not putting the standards in the right place. Because if I ask for
you're not
this,
living to your full potential.
if I'm asking for this, I'm getting this,
Yeah.
and this is my standards. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask for this to get this.
I get it.
Yeah.
But like speaking about entrepreneurship, and since you did that shift from corporate to private business, almost everyone that I have right now on my show or in general, when I talk to them, they're like, yeah, man, you should quit your 9 to 5. You should start your own thing. You should do your own thing, this and that. And some of them make it sound like very easy. But I know you had your fair share of thoughts on this. So I wanted to pick your brain because it's easier said than done, right?
100%. 100%.
And I don't think it's for everyone.
First of all, it's anybody who's saying that to you is kind of speaking to themselves through you.
Yeah.
So, whatever somebody's telling you to do, they don't know nothing about you, what's going inside you and what's happening, and they know nothing about your soul's mission on this damn planet.
Yeah.
So it's not words that are actually hold any value. So it's just their beliefs. Now, whatever you're doing at whatever time in your life is exactly what you should be doing at that time in your life. If you're listening to the guidance of your heart, which means I'm listening to myself, you'll know when something is over. We always know when we're overdue somewhere. You know how you know you suffer?
Yeah.
Suffering is the indication that this is no longer. And the suffering for the right thing, meaning if I'm in a place, in a relationship, in a job, in a whatever, and the suffering now is pointless suffering, means this is expired. I am overstaying. I am holding on to something where I'm no longer needing to be. The suffering for growth is another thing. It's an expansive suffering. I'm retracting and it's painful because I'm stretching out.
Yeah.
That's a different suffering and we experience it differently. Now, if you're supposed to stay in your 9 to 5. If somebody's saying right now my priorities in my life is to accumulate this amount of money because I need to secure this, I have these responsibilities, etc., I might think about that later. But if you come now to a single mother or a man who's lost his job and just got a job or whatever, then you should do your own thing while you're working for people. It's like, buddy, I've got responsibilities.
Exactly.
That's my priority right now. Maybe one day when that responsibility is no longer a priority because it's taken care of or it's no longer there, I will think about opening my fish shop or whatever.
So it's basically everyone has to move at their own time.
Everybody has to move at their own time and
their own pace.
We are not supposed, humans love to do this. People love to say, it's confirmation bias. Is if I can recruit as many people to believe what I believe, then it justifies what I believe to be true.
Yeah.
Right? So it's getting approval and validation is, right now I believe this is for me. So let me just tell other 5 people and we're all say, yeah, let's all do this. Yeah. So now I feel so much more empowered because by myself it feels a little lonely. So it's recruitment. You know what you need to do for yourself. Do you need to stay at your 9 to 5? You have the answer to that. There's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. I know a lot of people who are doing a 9 to 5 and they're very fulfilled.
Yeah, that's very well said. But generally speaking, I don't think you would disagree that there has been a rise in entrepreneurship, at least specifically in this region and in this generation. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the younger generation would much rather not work for someone and just do their own thing.
Correct.
And I don't know, but don't you think that's really the case right now?
I think the answers are in history for that. Because if...
How so?
So our grandparents lived the war, Most of our grandparents, the generation of our grandparents, were coming out of, they were within the war during the times
Yeah.
of the war, right? So after the war comes, so the war is destruction. After the war comes rebuilding.
Yeah.
Rebuilding means we are collectively now still in survival mode, trying to build a world again, build industry again, economy again. That is why we saw the rise of all of the big industries, Toyota and all these companies. That and the pride there was to hold the job for as long as possible. Like you were praised for having that little badge here that said 40 years in this company.
Yeah.
Right now, that's like, what's wrong with you? Like, what, 40 years in the same company? Like, do you give
Yeah.
up on yourself?
Exactly.
See, that the mentality has changed now, but
Big time.
at that time, it was what we call the factory worker mentality.
Yeah.
People needed to work to rebuild the whole destruction of the world that happened. Now, we were raised by parents who did that. Now, we have a much better potential for freedom and for choice, which they didn't really have. That generation didn't really think, what do I love? They didn't have the time, the luxury, and the privilege to think,
Yeah.
what do I love? Very few did. I remember even asking my father once, do you love what you do? And he paused. And
What does he do?
He's an oil man. He's been in oil his whole life.
Okay.
Oil. Well, Abu Dhabi at the time, everybody was in oil. It's like
Yeah,
we're all
yeah,
oil kids in
exactly.
school. Everybody's like, oh, Total, ADNOC, Zatco,
Yeah.
ADMA, ADCO. So that's what it was. and my dad at the time, I remember, I was like, do you like what you do? And he just like kind of stared at me like, what's wrong with this girl? Like,
Yeah.
and you know what he said to me? I'm good at what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Honestly,
like that's the answer.
that
Like,
that
don't
I
think
and
no-
I still think that should be the answer for every man, because sometimes you don't really have to love what you do, but you do it anyway, because as a man we are basically we are designed to get things done. Even if we don't like them, they have to be done.
I think
You don't-
I think you're spot on. I would rephrase it and just say, a man is about understanding why he does it. He needs to love why he does it.
Yeah.
He needs to love why he does it. So it's if
So
a
for
man
your
has
dad,
yeah.
So sorry,
Yeah,
to interrupt,
absolutely.
but for your dad, if
Right.
why he does it, and the why for him was to provide for his family because of the
Correct.
love that he has for his family. He doesn't
Correct.
probably like his job. I don't think
Correct.
anyone really likes
Correct.
their
I-
jobs. A lot of men, especially like like your dad or myself or people in the engineering sector, it's very, very stressful. Very.
It is very stressful, and
Very tedious.
It's not a sexy industry. Like
It's
let's
not
just put
at
it.
all.
It's not. It's not fun.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a man can bear just as much. Can bear anything if he has a strong enough why, which
Yeah.
means the purpose for it is strong enough. He can bear almost anything.
That's
and
true.
can do almost anything, and that's really a strong masculine energy, which is getting lost in our day. But and purpose has kind of moved around. and
Hunter
changed.
gatherer.
Yeah, not so much anymore.
Not so much
Not-
anymore,
not
but
so
that
much
that should
anymore.
be the case.
I agree.
And that's why we have people like you
I
on the
agree.
podcast
I am trying
to
my
remind
best. I'm
men
doing
and
my
women
part.
of what they should do.
Not what they should do. I am just doing my best to bring back love, so they remember what they're here for,
That's true.
as much as I possibly can. But yeah, that's changed. And then our generation, now we have the luxury to include into the question, into our lives, our heart. And say, because now we can open our hearts again. War, people close their hearts. That's our grandparents, and they raised kids with their hearts closed. And then our parents, they're still not connected to their hearts. And now we are the generation of that heart opening. It's like people will speak about, what do I love and what I'm passionate about. That's like, and it's beautiful in all its forms. It still needs to have a balance with structure. It still needs that,
That's true.
it can't be just going haywire.
But if you had to define success in business, what would your definition be?
Success in business,
Yeah.
it's serving, not getting served.
Serving, not getting served.
Yes. If you're solving problems, you'll be successful. Not your problems. If I want to be
So solving
acknowledged.
other people's problems.
Correct. So if you are here to serve, that is the natural order. God
Yeah.
is perfect, and the design of God is perfect. Is when you serve, the byproduct of it is success. Whatever success that means to you, money or whatever it is that it means, creating an
Yeah.
ingenious thing. But whenever you're coming to get served, which means I'm trying to solve my personal ego's problems, I want acknowledgement to prove myself, whatever, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah. Okay. That's very well said. But from all your achievements, which one would you say is your proudest moments? Proudest moment, sorry.
Proudest moment.
Could be moments, plural.
Yeah, I think every time I'm able to see a shift in somebody, which means whenever, and it's very specific. There's a moment where a person moves, and that's in my coaching. So when a person, I can see them move from helplessness, powerlessness, to their creator energy, to understanding that they're powerful and that their heart is beating there for a reason and giving them all the information they need, and they want that shift. For me, I know exactly why I'm here on earth.
It's very fulfilling. That I love that. But what about you, yourself? Do you ever feel like you're alone on this journey? Do you ever feel like it's a lonely journey and you're just doing this on by yourself?
I'm not, that's the thing is I dealt with the loneliness thing for a long time.
Really?
Hence why I was, getting partners, which were my friends, like, come hang out with me and I'll pay you, basically. But then what it is you start understanding that, first of all, how could you ever be alone? Once you, when you connect and you have your practices on a daily basis, and I'm very connected to source, to my creator, you're never alone. You're never alone. You can't be alone, because
Well said, yeah.
I can't be alone anywhere, because I am everything and I'm everybody and I'm nothing and I'm none of it as well. So I'm all of it, and I can't be alone. I'm not separate. I can't feel alone.
But it took you a while to realize this.
It took me a while to realize this, and I realized that by surrounding ourselves with mirrors of love, which means the people that mirror back to us love when we're lost.
Yeah.
And we all get lost. It's like I stay connected as much as possible, and then I get lost and I get into my fears and then et cetera, and I get lost. But I'm so blessed and so lucky and really, really blessed and grateful that I have people in my life. There's sisters who are there, and in them I remember and I reconnect, and I'm able to kind of feel that connection again when I'm lost. So does it get lonely? No. It sends me back. And loneliness is a beautiful thing. It is something that I think we all fear. I feared most of my life, and I always felt lonely growing up as a kid. I remember my diaries as a journal, every teenager I was writing, I'm alone and nobody gets me and I'm so alone. And then I realized the blessing in loneliness is literally what sends you back to source. Is when you're alone, you have nowhere else to turn and say, I'm going back to source. I'm connecting back to my creator. And I'm
it's just
befriending
you against the world, and you have to just figure it out.
It's me with the world.
Ah.
It's me with the world.
I like that.
Never against.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it. Yeah. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how cutthroat is the F&B sector?
I don't compete. So I don't know. My approach is a
I
little different.
I think you're being very humble now.
I'm not being humble, as I don't compete. I have so many friends in F&B as well, and we really genuinely help each other.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can do anything in this world by themselves.
They can't.
I think that
we're designed to be in a
tribe.
Community, in a tribe,
is
100%.
Everything. And as well, I don't think that the world is so abundant. The world is so abundant. That what's yours is yours, what's mine is mine. Period.
Yeah.
And if I just focus on my lane, my goodness, the things I'm going to notice about my lane and all the things I can do in my lane to perfect my lane and make it better and really pick up on all the dysfunctions and fix them and the problems, as opposed to keeping my eye on others and missing what's happening in my lane.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there's most brands that really succeed are brands that really stuck to what they do it really well, and kept improving on that. And they didn't go, there's a new trend, I'm going to go and add that to me, and now my brand is mixed up and it's changed and whatever. It's like, this is what I do. I don't need to follow anybody else. I don't need to see what anybody else is doing. I just need to take this and keep growing it and expanding it and making it more and better.
But how do you make the improvements? Do you get the feedback from the customers or your staff, or?
Correct. So improvements are everywhere. So in all the different parts, right?
Okay.
So improvements will be what do we do with the food, with the seasons, etc. Staff is like, what do staff need to feel?
Yeah.
And staff need not just training. I know a lot of people focus on training. Training is one thing, but there's one other thing that's priceless, which is and to be inspired.
Yeah.
To be inspired, and people are inspired when they feel seen and heard, when they feel
Yeah.
that they matter, when they feel that their person matters. Because at the end of the day, it's a job. Now you hire waiters or you hire, it's a job. Is it their dream job? I don't know a lot of people that will tell you my dream job would be to be a waiter, right? But what it is they want to feel good. Every human being wants to feel good. They want to feel their dignity. They want to feel they add value. They are seen as a person, that they matter, that they're an individual.
Yeah.
And if you are able to do that with humans, not to get something out of it, because it's always an exchange.
Yeah.
What you do there, you do it again to serve,
Yeah.
right? I like to call it serving God in everything and everyone.
Yeah.
If you would become a vessel that serves God in everything and everyone you meet has God. That's their soul, that's their spirit. If you serve God in that person and in this service and in this whatever it is that you do, all you're doing is you're serving the one. You are part of the one. You are included in
Yeah.
the bountifulness of that, in the abundance of that, in all of the byproduct of that.
And that's all, and you feel like that's all the energy and that's all the feedback that you need, because once, like you said, once you have that in place, everything else falls just naturally in order.
100%. 100%.
I like that. But what about locations?
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think restaurants are 100% or not 100%? Do you feel like location is one of the most important factors in the success of a restaurant?
I think creativity is. Now, what that means...
Regardless of location.
Regardless of location.
Okay.
Because if you look at a location, you should be coming at the location and saying, let me look at this place and what problem am I solving in this location?
Yeah.
This is a land, this is a place, a community, a whatever. I need to first study problem am I identifying. Problem meaning what demand is not being met. What is something that here would be, received, that people want to have here.
Yeah.
If you're just coming with a concept, so you already have a concept in mind, and then you're looking for the right location for this concept, then yes, the location will matter. But if you're just saying, I want to open up something, I have funds, I have whatever, I want to open up something, then it's not about location. It's give me a location, and now I need to create something that works in this location, right? So it's, if I'm going to a place which is like super, luxurious, etc., I might not want to open a very, shabby, whatever. It's not going to work. So it depends on what your motivations are. Am I looking to create something, and I'm creative and I can create all sorts of different things, and that could be what I want to do.
Yeah.
Or I'm just an investor and I can really partner with somebody who would be the creative person for that. Or I have this very specific one concept, and where would that be? And it could not even be this country. It could be my concept would work in Switzerland. I don't know. And then you'd have to move there. But so it depends on what you're coming with.
Okay. I can definitely agree with that. But for you, what would be the most rewarding thing about running an F&B outlet a restaurant? What's the most rewarding feeling of owning a restaurant?
I think so there's a little part for me where I do love going and sitting there. Like
Really?
Yeah.
So if I ever go there, I'm always gonna find you?
I'm not always there. That's not true.
Okay.
I try to be there once a week now, because I'm doing a bunch of different things, but I'm there once a week. I love sitting there and seeing people come in and drink and relax. And the cafe that I opened in DIFC is a soulful retreat that is an escape from the matrix, from the busyness of the suits.
The escape of the matrix.
So
that.
The lighting is like candle lighting. It's got Mediterranean feel. The music is very Mediterranean. You've got books of Rumi, and so people come in to drop from this into their heart.
Yeah, I like that.
So it's like a food spa, if you want.
Yeah,
in a way.
A food spa.
So I enjoy seeing the experience.
Do you have? There's a place I think you might like. It's similar to yours. I still have to go to your place.
Yeah.
But it's in Kuz. It's called La Nena.
I know it. Yes,
It's very
yes, a
chill.
cafe.
Very
See,
cool.
yeah, and it's an
That place is
ambiance.
like
It's
what
an
like
ambiance.
yeah, you feel like too comfortable. You're like, yeah, I might want to take a nap here.
Yeah, but that's the good thing because at the end of the day, we're never selling anything other than feelings. We're just
Yeah.
selling feelings, everything we do. So I always say to my staff, and I've got it written at the back of the house, which is, what are we selling? Feelings. Why? Which means whoever,
Really? You
yeah.
actually tell them that?
Oh, 100%. It's like our goal is people, if whatever feeling they come at, they leave a tiny bit happier.
Yeah.
What happens is their subconscious picks up on, I like this place.
Yeah.
That's what it generates. Same with people. You sit with somebody, you feel a little bit better. Suddenly you want to see that person again.
Yeah.
And that's your favorite person. That's how you have your favorite cafe. Because I leave feeling better. That's it. That's all.
That's
Your
all that
feet
matters.
will take you there without you knowing. You'll walk back there. Because everything we do, every single thing from the moment we wake up until we sleep, is to feel better. I go to the gym to feel better. I speak to this person to feel better. I finish this job so I feel better. I don't want to feel guilty. I want to feel better. We just want to feel. So if you make people feel better,
Yeah.
guess what? It's a win-win. They
Yeah.
feel better. Your business feels better. We're all winning.
That's good. I like that. That's very good. But if you had to put your finger on one thing that's like missing from the Dubai food scene, what would it be?
Oh, I can't. Oh, wow. Dubai is so, missing. Lord, I can't even keep up with so much that's going on. There's so much. I think it's one of the top cities when it comes to food. It's competing with London at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
But I'm sure there's something that you'd like to see more of, something that you feel like is maybe something that you'd like to even incorporate at some point in your.
I think I wouldn't incorporate it, but the one thing that I would like to see more of is Emirati food.
Mm.
There
I'm
are
trying to
places,
think
but
if
not
there's
many.
a mainstream place. I don't know, or a modern place for that. No, I can't think of any at the top of my head.
Because and this comes to mind to me because I had whenever I have friends visiting or family visiting, like, I want to try Marathi food. I'm like, I'm taking you to my friend's majlis because it's like, or we're going to my friend's farm, or
Yeah.
because there aren't that many restaurants. There are a couple,
Yeah.
a few more in Abu Dhabi, but there aren't that many places. And it's like, yeah, I'd like to see more like
Yeah.
famous, popular, well-known Emirati
Yeah.
food restaurants.
That's true.
Yeah, so
I mean,
whoever's out there.
it's definitely one of those, because like Emirati food can be very I don't know, how do you, I'm trying to find the word for it. Very
Coma-inducing.
yeah.
It's heavy. It is
But
good.
it feels good when
So
you eat
good.
it. It feels
It's
so good when you eat
It's
it.
delicious.
It's like you eat and you feel like you accomplished something. You feel like you are like.
It is.
I love that, like the rice and the mashu and all the spices. It's so good.
It's incredible, and it's inspired from so different places. It's such a rich
Yeah.
culture, and they got great food. But instead of seeing it just at like the heritage festivals and stuff, I like that proper restaurants where you could just go there and let's have Emirati food.
Exactly. All right. So let's talk about women in entrepreneurship.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, it's pink.
It's
It's
pink.
different. The question that I get in every interview. You know what's the question I get in most interviews?
No, but come on. My questions are unique. They're
No,
not
this is
like-
good. This is good. The other ones are usually, how does it feel to be a woman in business? I don't know, because I don't know how it feels to be a man in business. So I guess that's the only experience I have.
No, I'm a lot cool. I'm a lot cooler than
You're
that.
so cool. You are.
I'm a
This
lot.
is
I'm a
fun.
lot more
This
chill.
I feel at home right now. This is
That's
really
good.
fun.
I know you have your shoes off, so
I
that's
know. I'm
good.
going barefoot. Yeah.
No, but like I'd have to say, I would have to ask. Do you think? I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna ask the stupid
yeah.
lame-o questions like, "How does it feel for women?" Obviously, women, just like men, they can be entrepreneurs and stuff. But have you seen their input or their style of leadership maybe change a little bit over the last few years, and specifically in local companies like home bred companies?
You mean the style of running
Yeah,
the
like the
companies?
style of running the company specifically by like women here. Because for example, I'll tell you, you've got someone like you've got Tasha's who, really like open the way for like a lot of high-end restaurants, and as a woman she really changed the game for
Right.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, what she started with Tasha's, and then the
Started in
film.
South Africa. and then she opened up a few cafes here.
Yeah.
And then now she's got tons, 29 plus, I don't know, or
Yeah.
19 or
And she
something
has
like
like Bungalow
that.
34
Yeah,
and
I love that one.
yeah,
Very
they
good.
have. But do you feel like the landscape has changed for women specifically in the F&B industry? Do you feel like right now we're seeing a lot more than we used to back in the day?
I think in general, yes, because women didn't do, women are so much more into doing their own thing now.
Yeah.
And they're feeling a lot more empowered as well to do it. And empowerment means just feeling self-trust, self-confidence that I can do it. So I think there are a lot of women that now are taking their projects to the next level. And that's a beautiful thing. Of course, there are industries that are more women beloved by women, such as F&B. I mean, the woman is very much connected to nurturing
Yeah.
and nourishing and feeding. So there's a beauty that comes with that. So women will tend to go towards there. But there's so many men, obviously, who love food and are chefs and
Yeah.
open cafes, etc. I think this industry is a beautiful industry because you get to decorate and you get to work with food and people and hospitality, which is what women excel at
But
connecting.
how's their style of leadership different than men? Specifically in your field, like the
I
F&B.
think I think women focus on connection, so it's
Mm.
connecting and in my the place's feel is a lot more important than maybe the excellence of it.
Mm.
So and I think that's just women in general in everything they do is how does this feel? How does this place feel?
Yeah.
How does it
They
feel to
focus
be
more
more
on the feeling and the
the
experience, like you
correct
said. It's
the
just
feel and the
the
experience above maybe the excelling, above the expansion, above the all of that. So
which is the male.
which is a lot more masculine.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
more masculine.
So yeah, so you'll have a lot of women you know that usually you'll ask them, let's say they've opened their first cafe and it's been for 5 years. Are you planning to open another one? Um, I mean, if it comes to me, as
Mm.
opposed to maybe a more masculine approach, which is, yeah, we have the business plan for the
Yeah.
next 10 years. We're opening now 3 and then we're opening another 4. We need more investors for the next 5. So I think the motivations are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why is it that I always hear from all my friends that are girls that they would much rather work for a guy, a male boss, than a girl boss?
Unfortunately, and that's the
So you
saddest
agree?
thing. I don't agree. It saddens me to hear this.
Because it's very common.
It
I
is.
know
It
it's
is.
controversial, but
It is.
it's
It
very
is.
common.
It is. Women have lost sisterhood, and
Mm.
we've lost the sense of that sisterhood that I think existed much more in previous generations. Our
Yeah.
moms, our grandmothers, and therefore women used to live in groups and support one another and stand together. And through women entering the world of the masculine, they've adopted more of the masculine traits such as competition. So women now compete with one another
Mm.
as opposed to, support one another, love one another. And it's all fear with fear. I work a lot as well with women groups, and I'm part of a lot of sisterhoods, and I absolutely love it. I mean, women need women. We need one another. I mean,
Mm.
And men need men also, which is very
Definitely.
important. So yeah, I think women who say that is just the insecurities are
Yeah.
there, the fears are there.
Do you feel like it would also help a lot if they had like a good support system? Actually, I'll ask you, who's your best support system?
I am surrounded by the best support system.
Really?
I'm not going to name them because I don't want to have, oh, you forgot me and you didn't forget me. But I have the best support system.
Are they like how many are they?
I know a lot of people, but the people that know me best and know all of me, little
Yeah.
Rima with the little tantrums and the craziness and, boss lady Rima and the feminine Rima and all of that. So those people who know all of that one, on this hand. Let's say
Okay.
on this hand. Yeah. And it's funny
That's
because
good.
they bring different energies out of each other as well. And the
That's good.
energies we attract that are close to us also represent other energies that we experienced growing up. So
Yeah.
if you look at the closest person in your life, and you'll probably see, that's the nurturing the mother nurturing that I wanted.
Yeah.
Or that's the father energy I needed. This person represents a lot of guidance, solidity, grounding. So we get that, and yeah.
Do you feel like that helps you get where you are today?
Oh my God, I wouldn't get anywhere if I didn't. We can't. We
So
are not
shout out to
friends.
them, whoever they are.
I love you guys, all of you, so much. But that's what we couldn't. We can't get anywhere without it, man. We
Yeah.
can't. Nobody gets to the top on their own. It's impossible. No matter what the top is, even if the top for you is just finding some kind of fulfillment, or you have to have love around you. Support is another word for love.
But what about gender roles? Do you believe in traditional gender roles?
Traditional, like this is a big topic. We have what is traditional?
You know, some people define traditional roles as like the male goes out, gets stuff done, gets his things done, puts food on the table, etc. Woman stays at home, takes care of the kids. Maybe she'll have her own side thing, but not fully dedicated for that, but rather more for bringing up the family or bringing up the kids.
I get all my answers from nature, from source. So this is closed. I don't words like traditional, etc. I'm not. Traditional means it's a tradition. Traditions change.
Yeah.
Traditions have changed throughout history. If we
They
go
do.
back generations, the tradition was different. Is you buy a woman, you put her at home. She doesn't read a book. So we traditions change,
Yes,
right?
they do.
So the only thing I'm interested in is what is natural to us. What feels natural.
And what feels natural to you may not feel natural to someone else.
Impossible. Nature is one. So nature is one. So if they say that feels natural to me, it doesn't. So what I'm speaking about when I say natural is what is God's design? What did God, nature, the creator, design? What is our nature? And our nature is, again, we can go into all of the polarities of the masculine and the feminine energies. And that's what it is we've got masculine energy, we've got feminine energy, but that's
Yes.
not exclusive to the genders.
Yeah.
You are feminine and masculine, and I am feminine and masculine. We've got both energies within us. The masculine is the protector and the provider. That is what is built to do. That is that energy. And I don't want you to picture a man when I say masculine. I just want you to think of an energy. It's an energy. Think of it as a light bulb or whatever you want, energy force. It's an energy force that the purpose of it is to protect and to provide. Now, provide, it doesn't mean just provide food and money. It means provide support, emotional support. It means, when you're providing to a team, let's say you are leading a team, you listen to them, what is needed. We need to adjust this system, and you provide answers, you provide solutions, you provide what is necessary for them to work within a company, within, the department or whatever. That is what provision is. So provision and protection. Protection, again, is not just physical, it's protection on both realms. In the physical world, yes, you're going to protect physically, but you're going to also protect the spiritual, which is protect her essence, protect her heart.
Yeah.
So that's the masculine energy. The feminine energy is a different energy. So the feminine energy is life energy.
Yes.
It is the life force. So the feminine, if we describe the feminine, it is the beauty, it is the music, it is the purpose, because she is the continuation of life.
It is the feelings and everything.
She is the continuation of life.
Yeah.
She is the continuation of life. So without the feminine, the masculine wouldn't have anything to do. You'd have nothing to protect, nothing to provide for.
That's true.
Which means she is the purpose. And what I mean by she is the purpose, your heart within you is your purpose. And then externally, when you get out of what is happening within the union here, externally between a male and a female, when a male encounters a female, suddenly the purpose becomes so much more understood, clear, and he understands why he's out slaying dragons all day, overcoming challenges.
Yeah.
Because when he comes home and he looks at his kingdom, whatever it is, whether it's a tiny little place, whether it's a place on the beach, it doesn't matter. He comes home and she's looking at him, and he's been able to provide in the house, secure them. Everybody's happy. Everybody's healthy. He sits in his kingdom as the king that he is, who's able to do that. And it gives him all that he needs, the motivation for him to go the next day and continue slaying dragons, what we call hunting gathering, which is slaying dragons, competing, doing what he needs to do, overcoming challenges, building things, doing things, accomplishing things. Why would he do all of these difficult things if there was no purpose? Life is ended. Remove the female, remove the feminine, life ends. Why is he doing all of this? He doesn't need it. He'll just go and chill in the sun.
That's
hang
true.
out.
But do you feel like the dynamics now have changed?
100%. We're struggling. The whole world is, because we're in a time of
Why?
transition.
Why do you feel like that?
We're in a time of redefining. We're in the time of redefining. So, because of the previous generations, and this is, we are generalizing, but because of the previous generations, the boys were raised a certain way and the girls were raised in a different way. There was a lot of absentee fathers. Absentee doesn't mean just physically; it means also emotionally.
Yeah.
So most of the boys and girls grew up with an absent father emotionally that could connect to their heart, which made the girls build within themselves the masculine that they needed to feel safe, to feel provided for, supported.
Because of the lack of it.
Because of the absence of the father.
Yeah.
And the boys experienced that in a different way. They missed the guidance of the father. The father represents the mentor. The father is the one that will teach you how to do life.
Yeah.
That will equip you with all the skill set within to do life, how to be an upstanding person, how to have character, what it is to have dignity, to be honest, to take responsibility, to take care of your stuff, to lead, to correct your mistakes, to look at yourself honestly. If the father is not there present, what the mother is the one having to raise mostly. And what the mother does with the son is what a mother does. She nurtures.
Yeah.
And the nurturing is one type of love, but is not the complete type of love. That is why we have both energies. Both energies are love. One alone is one part of love. The mother's love is one part of love, but the father's love is another part of love. And if you don't get that, you're going to struggle out there, and you're going to figure out how to. So the men are mostly into their feminine, which means that they're a little bit disconnected from their incredible power, their absolutely insanely beautiful, strong energy of masculinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I was actually going to ask you something about this. Is what are your thoughts on like this new feminism agenda and what they're trying to like push?
I think feminism is radicalism, just like in anything else that we do, like religions, etc. There's always a radical group that comes out because it's angry.
I like how you described it, radicalism. This is the first time I ever hear anyone describe it like that.
It is. It's an extreme, and there's always extremes.
An extreme of anything is not, because
Extreme.
even extreme masculinity is also very poisonous.
Correct. But we've had a lot of
Very
that in
toxic.
history. So it's like we've had a lot
It
of
only
that in
led to
history.
war.
But that's the thing, is the pendulum of creation, of energy. So energy is always trying to balance itself out. That's what it's trying to do, to stay in harmony in the center, so it balances itself out. The pendulum, when it's way too extreme on one side, it's gonna completely go to the other extreme here. So if you've had lots of that masculine energy, now we're going all the way here, which is what we're experiencing now. So women are angry because, and there is reason for that, 100%. Is this the solution? Absolutely damn not.
Yeah,
Absolutely
for sure.
not.
You know what book you would love?
Tell me.
Another one. I'm gonna send you everything.
I'm gonna be spending the next month reading.
How to Think Like a Roman Emperor. Because that book was written, it was a lot of self-reflection by, what's it called, the Roman emperor, I think,
Marcus Aurelius?
there you go.
Stoicism.
Exactly. And he was talking about Stoicism and how, like men should really be in control of their emotions, and they should not let their anger get the best of them, or their masculine get the best of them. Because when you are, like you said, too much on one side, you lose track of what's important, and you lose track of the bigger picture, and you lose track of the message or the purpose of why you're there. So you end up making hasty decisions, end up probably causing wars. You end up, because essentially, if you think about every conflict, it all goes down to like that final decision that one or two parties have to make. And it could either save or destroy a nation, back in the day at least. And even now.
Stoicism's become really popular with men, but I think it's misunderstood a lot in different ways. Where when men think, they think Stoicism means I should be in control of my emotions, means I should suppress my emotions. So a lot of men think I should just not show them. That's not what being in control of your emotion. That's not the control that Stoicism is about. It's about processing the emotions without having reactivity, without having impact on the outside. So I am not projecting my emotions and chaotic.
Yeah.
Is I am processing and taking care of my emotions and releasing them by myself, with myself, understanding them and feeling them. Because a lot of men suffer from exactly that, lots of suppression. And I always say, whatever you suppress expresses elsewhere. So whatever emotions you suppress, all that resentment, anger, whatever is not processed that you're not showing, they're expressing somewhere. Show me a man that suppresses a lot, I'll show you a man who has a lot of different addictions, whatever they are, which is where they express to escape, to not feel them, to not whatever. Because emotions are that energy that needs to move through our body to be expressed.
Yeah.
We need to express our emotions. Now, how do we express them in a constructive, harmonious, healthy way that doesn't destroy, that doesn't cause chaos, where we're not using the world as a punching bag? That's the refinement of controlling our emotions. That's the understanding of how we control our emotions.
Very, very well said. That's good. I'm actually going to read 2 quotes for you from another book that I think you should definitely read. No man is happy or complete without the modifying influence of the right woman. And the second one was, man's greatest motivating force is his desire to please a woman. Do you know, have you ever heard these quotes?
I have heard them before and I agree with them. And I know that unfortunately, a lot of men nowadays would be like, yeah, women just want to be a star and they just want us to please them. And I don't want to self-abandon. She's gonna dominate me and they're just going to try to control me and manipulate me. For what purpose, son? Like, why do you think a woman is trying to control you and manipulate you, please? Like, for what?
If people only knew who wrote these quotes, every man that's acting like this would second guess himself, because these were actually written by Napoleon Hill and his book Think and Grow Rich, which is actually a very important self-help book for men that are trying
Correct.
to achieve
I agree.
their best and reach their maximum potential.
Statistics
And he took
show
him
that.
25 years to write this book. And and actually he goes even further. And he states that sex, love, and faith are the single most powerful forms of energy
Correct.
there ever could possibly exist, and that if you harness them in the right way,
Correct.
they could be life-changing to your detriment or to your success.
They are either energies that you are succumbing or they are energies that you are harnessing. So
Yeah,
sexual energy is creative energy.
exactly
So
what he said.
a person, that's what it is.
And you'll notice that most of the people that are super creative and geniuses are ones that can take that sexual energy and transform it into a creative one.
And that's exactly what it is. The sexual energy is our creative energy. It's an extremely potent energy, but when we harness it, which means I am able to channel it towards my purpose, to create. I am not letting it complete me, take me wherever, whenever, whatever. So, and it's a very good indicator as well of people who are very much on their path and very much doing what they're meant to be doing, is their hold on their sexual energy. A man who's got a great hold on his sexual energy, which means he switches it on and off when he wants to, depending on what and how and what he's doing, and channels it to create, is a man who's very much understanding the power of that and is able to create a lot. Faith, obviously, it's not an energy, it's our belief. So it's our surrendering, it's our surrender of ego. So, and to have faith is to say, I don't know where I'm going, but I know what, by listening to that force, to God, to Creator, whatever it is you believe in, I can only land where I'm supposed to land.
Yeah.
And I trust that. I trust that I am not creating my life. I am co-creating. I am co-creating with the Creator. And that no matter what I do, I can never have a plan that's going to go 100% to the way I want it, but that I'm flexible to flow and surrender the other part of creation to the Creator. And that I will mold and I will accept whatever it is that my path is. And not say, I don't want this, I want that. Keep bending and forcing other things. So that's super important. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's and honestly, it's, if people really understood that, they probably avoid a lot of problems.
I have a quote that I think is quite helpful to understand when a man matures.
Yeah.
Is so a man who's still not matured, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that he's on his way. Is still looking at the world, looking to be served. So it's I want to take and I want to get. So
Yeah.
whether it's in a relationship, is what am I getting out of her? What am I getting from her? What is this doing for me? How much validation I'm getting? Sexual, benefits, all sorts of different things. What am I getting out of this? Is this making me look good? Whatever.
Yeah.
In everything, jobs, whatever. A man who has matured is a man who is here to serve. It's very different.
Yeah.
And that is a man who's on purpose. Once he has matured, man is here to serve, and his fulfillment comes from serving, because
I
by
agree.
serving, that what he creates by serving, and the feedback of it is all the fulfillment that he feels. A king serves
Because-
his people.
Yeah, because that provides a validation that gives him not the validation, but that fulfills his purpose of being here
Correct.
on Earth.
Is he's on purpose. He
Yeah.
understands what it is that he's creating. A king serves his people, doesn't take from his people.
That's true. But you actually once said that humans are not inherently bad
No, they're not.
and they're just blind.
Correct.
Why'd you say that? Because
Because-
I will respectfully disagree about this. But I know what you're saying is true, but I'm just saying I would respectfully disagree that it doesn't apply to people that really have deep-rooted issues.
I had a long conversation on a podcast about that, like psychopaths and pedophiles and all
Yeah.
these kind of things. And it's like, what do we do with those people, right?
Exactly.
So people are not bad or good. Bad or good are words that we've created to isolate, to separate. And there's no purpose in isolating and separating. There really isn't, because there's no solution in that. We're just saying we're cutting off that part and throwing it that way. There's much more benefit for us to understand what it is that makes this person that. We are all of it. We are all of it. Whatever horror we can
Yeah.
see in someone, we have the capacity for it. A mother that will look at somebody who's just killed someone has the capacity to kill someone who's trying to hurt her child. 100%, it doesn't matter who that mother is. We all have the capacity for horror, and we all have the capacity for absolute compassion and bliss and love and all of that. We are all of it. We're God. We have everything that is possible that exists on earth that we can identify in another. Now, to label somebody fully bad doesn't help us, but to understand it is to say this person is lost. And there's a reason why religions speak of they've lost their way. They are in darkness. They are in darkness. What is to be in darkness? If they have gone so far in their ego, in living from fear, in self-protection, in so much pain, in the abyss, that they have so much torment that they have to cause pain for them to relieve their pain, that is somebody who is lost. That is somebody who is truly living in fear in the abyss. You either live in hell or in heaven or somewhere in between. Some people really live in hell and some people live in heaven.
Yes, sure.
And most people live in between somewhere right here. And they're a bit of this and a bit of that, right? We don't like these people here. Everybody wants to be this. But the truth of the matter is we're on the spectrum and we move. And any time life could throw you here. It could.
Yeah.
It could.
That's true, and that's why I think every man specifically should have a role model or a mentor, at least, because it could help guide you when you feel lost. It could help bring you out of situations when you are sort of in paralysis, when you don't really feel like you're able to do anything, and that's why, honestly, like, I always tell anyone, and my advice to anyone that is maybe going through some things and stuff, is just always find a mentor. Like, look at all your networks, see who you think can offer unconditional love. I wouldn't say unconditional love, but like, just offer love, period.
It is. A mentor is a form of unconditional love.
Yeah.
Men need mentors. Mentor is the
Yeah.
father. And most, fathers do their best, and there's only so much they can give.
Yeah.
Some people are lucky enough to say, I had a father who was the greatest mentor. Most people don't, because they had a father who did his best, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And men need mentors. Why? Because they need men to hold them, to understand
To
them,
hold them accountable
to hold
also.
them accountable. Well, that's what women are doing now, and that's why the men are running. But it's like, damn, no, she crazy. No, honey,
She's
you
giving me
should.
shit again.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something about women. It's very that I read that somewhere, and I thought it couldn't be truer, and it's so absolutely
Yeah.
freaking fantastic. Is a woman is an amplifier and a multiplier. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yes.
It's fantastic, and it is extremely true. It is, if you're gonna
You
give her stress, she's gonna give you a shit show.
Exactly.
If you're gonna give her anxiety, she's gonna give you another
Because
shit show.
because I think it's just of the reproducing
Correct.
nature of a
Correct.
woman.
Correct.
You give her, something, she creates a
Correct.
baby.
Correct. You give a seed, she gives you a baby.
Exactly.
That's how it works. So, if
So-
you want a lot more of the love and the what you want, guess what you gotta give? You
Take a wild
You want
guess.
compassion? Guess what you gotta give? You want someone who understands you? Guess what you gotta give? But a lot of men are like, no, I don't do that, but you give me that I didn't get from my mama. Okay? So basically, I'm looking for mama.
Oh my god.
You're like, but your mama's alive. Go see your mama. I'm not here to be your mama. I'm looking to be mama to your children.
So that's what you think a mama's boy is?
100%.
Really?
But I'm not saying it in a mocking way whatsoever.
I know.
have so much compassion for it because I have.
I don't
such
think
a-
mama's boys even know they're mama's boys.
They don't.
They
Because
don't.
because mama's boys can't take accountability. That's the number one
That's
problem. They're on the spectrum of high egocentrism to narcissism, which means, and what is narcissism is I can't look at myself and take responsibility for my own issues.
True.
So whatever happens is somebody else's fault. It's somebody who's going to tell you, I lied because of you.
Victimhood, basically.
Yeah, I lied because of you. I did X because of you. All my bad behaviors are because of someone else. No, you chose to do that. No, but it's because of you. So it's really hard to work with them, but eventually they get somewhere, hopefully. They get enough mentorship and
Yeah.
they get enough...
But speaking of mentorship, who is your best mentor?
Whew! I've had beautiful mentors. So I've had mentors, a lady who's I think is in her late 70s or 80s now. Wonderful woman. Worked with her coaching. So I've had her. And then I answered this question. I was asked this question lately, and it said, "Who do you look up to, or who are you inspired by?" And it literally came out. I didn't think it. You know when you just answer something,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
comes out, and I said, "God." I get my answers from that, and I know what. And when I said that, I said, "What did I say? How did that come out?" And the reason for that is, I think for me, the past couple of years, there's a big shift that happened in my life internally. And what happened is I really started claiming back all of that leaking of sovereignty and of trust for myself
Yeah.
out there. It's whenever we're not okay, we go and reach out and look for somebody.
Yeah.
Or we go look out for answers. And, I would eat up like books and so many things and read, and I need to understand this thing, and I need to this, and I need to call this person. They probably have the answer. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Until it just dawned on me. I was like, I know. I just don't know yet. I don't need these doubts because these doubts are what keeping me weak.
Yeah.
Once I get rid of the doubts and I say, I know, I just need to wait for the answer to come by connecting, by spending time here. It was like finding one of the last keys to that sovereignty, and such a freeing feeling of knowing that I've always known the source is there to connect back to my soul, to God, to speak to God, and to wait for the answer. The patience with it. It might not come today, it might come tomorrow, and I'm gonna stay at it until it comes when it comes. But I'm staying connected to be able to receive it when it comes. It was the most freeing and most comforting feeling ever. So
I'm actually going to ask you something about this. And if you felt so strongly about something, and if you're so passionate about a particular thing, but it went against your parents or the people that you trust, would you still go for it?
like what?
Could be anything. Could be a relationship, could be a decision, could be this, could be that. But if it was going against the opinions of the people that you love, trust, and respect.
So, if I have vetted these people, and I've vetted about, as I said, I'll remove a couple fingers. Maybe there are three people in my life that I have vetted that their opinion matters to me, that it has value.
Let's start with your mom and dad.
I love them.
I feel like, but there's a but coming. I feel like I love them.
I love them.
But
I love them. But the thing is, when we vet people on a decision making, it's in
Yeah.
a specific area. You might trust your father in business to get his opinion on things, but not your mother, for example, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that your mother's opinion is, it's just, it is not suited here. You know, that's not what she's good at. If I want advice on fish, I'm not going to go to a builder and say, what do you think about
Yeah.
the fish? So it's the same thing as I've vetted people in specific things, right? So I've vetted people in somebody who I know,
Yeah.
they've got lots of wisdom when it comes to this specific thing. I will take their opinion, and it's always never final. I will
Yeah.
take their opinion, I will hold it, and then I will still come with my own. Now, if it's a decision which is a hard decision for me, and what I know to be true for me, if anybody's opposing it, they're probably not supposed to be in the position that I've put them in. I probably need to replace them somewhere else in a different position in my life. Because
Well,
if there's somebody that, that is close to me, what they want from me is what my heart wants.
true. True. That's actually a very good answer. That's true. Because you would obviously want to hear the answers from people that you know you can trust their opinions about a particular thing, and not just people that have that position of authority just because of a particular, let's say, situation that they're in.
Because yes, but that means getting to a place in our lives where we remove everybody from all the pedestals we put
Yeah.
them on, and we start walking on the same ground with everybody. And
That's
once we
true.
start doing that, we understand that we're all on the pedestal of
Yeah.
life together, and that nobody has the answers for me, but I can go to somebody for expertise. I can go to somebody for skill set, for experience, for wisdom in specific things.
Yeah.
And I would be blessed to receive their wisdom on that and their richness and wealth they have in that specific thing. When it comes to decisions of the heart, nobody can decide but yourself.
True. What would you say is the single most important habit to have if you want to be successful at anything you do, whether it's a relationship or business or what? If you had to pick like one habit, one key characteristic that could really make all the difference, what would it be?
Relational intelligence, and it's more than emotional intelligence. It's how do I relate to my emotions? How do I relate to myself? How do I relate to other? And by doing that, it implies that it always takes me to a place of always seeing the picture of what is the most loving thing to do and choose at every instance. And what I mean by the most loving thing to choose and do at every instance is, what is it that serves the all, not just me or just this person? What is it that serves the all in every problem solving? And what is it that is going to make it a win-win-win-win-win, that we are all rising together? And it's not, I get what I want and they don't, I'm
Yeah.
happy. Because that's not a win, that's a loss. If I get what I want and somebody else loses, I have lost the relationship with them. I have lost whatever contact, whatever rapport we had.
Yeah.
That's lost. So I think that's the most important one. The
That's
world
good.
is people. The world is connection. Is humans. That's
I
the
like
richness of everything.
I like the answer. But looking back, what's the one piece of advice you wish you would have known when starting out on all of this?
Oh, when starting out on all of this, the one piece of advice I wish I would have known. Whoo, the list is long. You learn so much. My God, you learn so much. Oh,
One thing that sticks, come on, I'm sure there's always something that sticks. Like, yeah, man, that person was right. That person was on point.
oh yeah, I think that's the best thing though. When is you can't take anything personally ever. You
It's
can
very
never
true.
take anything personally. Whatever.
Especially in business.
In everything. In relationship.
Come
too.
on.
I promise you.
Rima,
I
in
promise you,
relationship, you cannot
100%.
take things personally. Come on.
You can't.
It's all based on emotions. How can you not take
You-
things personally? Come on.
Because it's not about the person that you are. It's about
Who is it about then?
the identity you hold yourself to be. And when you do that dissociation, what happens is it makes it so much easier for you to fix it.
If so-
When it's personal,
so-
you hold on so
So,
much more.
so you're trying to convince me right now, if someone tells you something that is probably going to strike a nerve somewhere, or that's
Trigger.
yeah, you're not going to take it personally.
What I'm going to do is dissociate myself as much as possible, which means he is now speaking about the Rima version that he has in his mind.
Yeah.
Because nobody has the you version that is the you version. Every single person has a version of you. Even you have a version of you. It's all versions thrown out there. So somebody says something, right? Somebody says something about, let's say you say something about me now. You say something to me, and it triggers me. So what is it saying to me? It's showing me a wound in me. It's showing me something in me that I should probably pay attention to. And usually, what we have to pay attention to, if it's triggering, it's true. If it's untrue, what you say to me, it's not going to be triggering. If I don't hold it to be true in my identity, if I'm not hiding it, if it's not something I'm struggling with, I won't have a problem. If you tell me, I don't know, oh, you're really tall, I'm like, no, it's not true. Like, it's not going to trigger me. But if you tell me something that I don't know would trigger me, then I would be, and I would feel it because I have
Okay,
an
then
issue
what
with
would
it.
you do? Then how would you deal with it and not take it personally?
Because everything you say about me is your opinion through your filters
Yeah.
and the version you hold of me and how I should be and shouldn't be. You are telling me who you are. Nobody can tell you who you are. They can only tell you who they are through every word and through the breath. Whatever they say,
Okay, I see your point.
they're telling you who they are. They're telling you what they prefer, what they don't like, what they notice, what they don't notice. If they're judgmental, they're not.
So in a way, you're saying it's a kind of projection also.
It is. All we do is projection. Do you think somebody knows who you are? The people don't know who they are themselves. We're all on the path of trying to figure out who we are. Suddenly somebody comes into my life and in 3 months they know who I am.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with you on this one. I didn't think I was gonna agree with you, but you managed to convince me a little bit. A little bit, not too much, a little bit. Okay, so what about legacy? What
Legacy.
is the legacy that you would like to leave behind if you had to be remembered for something?
Legacy for me is one thing and one thing only, which is how much impact we have left in terms of how many hearts we touched. That's the only thing we leave behind. So
Yes.
there's nothing we take with us. We're not here to take anything. Everything we have is borrowed. The money in your pocket today was in somebody else's pocket yesterday.
That's true.
The house you have will go to someone else and somebody else before and someone after. Everything we have is borrowed. We are here using tools, physical tools, to create, to help ourselves walk around, do things in this world, but it's all borrowed. The only things that we can leave behind is what we create, right?
Yes.
So anything that is brought into existence is a creation, which means it didn't exist, we birthed it. Anything we birthed, and what we leave behind, creations such as, I don't know, the guy who invents the next big thing, whatever, we speak of their legacy, right? We have books about them. Those are beautiful legacies, and they help the physical world advance. And then there are legacies which help the spiritual world expand, the soul, consciousness grow. And those legacies are done in relationship. They're done in the impact we do in people's hearts. Now, the ripple effect of that, when you touch someone's heart and you free them from something, you help them free themselves from something. You help them become more of who they are. What they go and do in their life afterwards, the ripple effect of that in their family, with their children, with their spouse, in their business, and whatever it is that they do, is monumental.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
monumental. Those children are now have access to a higher consciousness, which means it's already raising them to another consciousness, and then they continue that and keep growing. That is the real legacy.
And
In my opinion.
and that's probably one of the most beautiful things that you could leave behind.
100%.
I asked someone that was sitting in your chair the other day. He's a pretty well-established entrepreneur of a startup, and I asked him, "How do you avoid burnout?" You know what he told me?
Tell me.
He's like, "You'd be surprised if I tell you this, but he's like having the right life partner."
100%.
He's like, "That's what it is." He's like, "If it wasn't for my wife, it wasn't for my partner,
It's
I would be long
Correct.
gone." So
the feminine, the female, the woman. The woman is what we spoke about earlier, which she's the portal.
yeah,
That's why she's the heart. She's the emotions and life itself, a life force. A soul comes through her into a fetus and becomes a baby, comes through her, so through the spirit world. And that's why we say she's a portal. That's why we say women have very strong intuition. What is intuition? Is the intelligence of the soul, of the heart. A woman operates almost like a church or a temple or a priest for a man. Because a man out there in the physical world, where he's building hospitals and doing things for the continuation of life, and everything that the masculine does, he does for her. Everything, this life that she has dreamt, the feminine has dreamt, the masculine executed, built, constructed, designed. The systems
Yeah.
solve the problems. But it's for who? For life continuation. Who is life? Her. It's for her. Otherwise, why would he build hospitals? Why would he build schools? Why would he build any of these things? So everything is done for her, for life, for
Yeah.
life continuation. So a man, for him to do all of these things out there, he's here.
Yeah.
He's in the head. He comes home, or he comes to his woman. She drops him here. She
Yeah.
connects him back to
Brings
his
him
source.
back.
Correct.
Yeah.
She brings him back to source, to his heart, to feel his feelings, to connect back to his creator through her. Through her, he is connecting back to his creator. So what that does is it keeps bringing him back to his own source of power, his
Yeah.
own source, his own connection, and it gives him the fuel he needs to continue.
What do you
doing what he
think
does.
men should be looking for when they're picking their spouse or their wives or their significant other? Like if you had to pick like 3 qualities.
In the partner?
Mm.
I think we attract what we are, but I don't think. I think the question is formulated, and I really don't want to come out biased, but I think the question is formulated maybe not in the correct order, because nature shows that the feminine chooses, not the masculine chooses.
Oh?
So the egg is there, and you got sperm, and the egg actually chooses which sperm she's going to mate with or she's going to allow in. There's a lot of sperm. She's like, not this one, not this one, that one. You know, and nature has it that way. So the feminine chooses. The feminine, when she is in her grounding, in her connection to herself, which means she is in her feminine energy,
Yeah.
what happens is she's already connected. She's in her feminine energy. She knows why she's here. A woman is born with purpose. A man isn't. He needs to find it. That's why he suffers. A woman's born with purpose. She's got a womb. She knows, I am here to give birth. She knows that.
Yeah.
A woman is born with that. A man has to find purpose. He has to find purpose in the world. And that's his suffering. Every man is out there struggling from what? Not feeling good enough. Feeling good enough. Good enough
Yeah.
for what? For who? For what? Good enough for what? To be chosen, accepted, wanted, to have enough value to bring. So a man is out there hiring his value. I need to slay dragons. I need to build things. I
Yeah.
need to be of value, to be useful somewhere, so I have value, so that I am chosen by an egg. It is by an egg that, and I can have a beautiful egg and build my kingdom and
Yeah.
continue growing my kingdom and raise these beautiful children and have come in. That I put it in this
so
way,
animated.
but that's how it is. Now, a lot of people, you know, whoever this triggers, and it triggers a lot of people, are people who are not willing to deal with this.
Yeah.
And it is triggering. But it's like, is it triggering because, buddy, you're sitting on your bum and you don't like the story and you prefer the other story, 50-50, we're all equal, whatever. We're not, buddy. I mean, let's get naked in front of a mirror. We are not equal. Like, are you joking? How are we equal? We are different.
Oh God, this girl.
We are different.
Something
We are
else.
different.
I agree. I mean, I see your point, and that's a very good way of putting it. I'm not gonna disagree. Okay, but what do you think shapes us more, or men that are like this, or women that have their own issues? Do you feel like our experiences or our upbringing shape us more, or is it a combination of both?
I think our upbringing is the ground zero of the ingrained
Yeah.
issues. And I think the second thing is how willing or wanting are we to
To
change
change.
things, to take responsibility for ourselves. So when this question comes up a lot, it's like, how do I choose a partner? How do I choose a partner? How do I know
Yeah.
this is the right person? How do I know this is the whatever? And I think it's really looking at, is this a person that is in their creatorhood as opposed to victimhood in life? Because if they're in their creatorhood, they're living in abundance and abundance mindset. They are all the time creating solutions, they're problem solving, they're whatever, they're not dwelling in powerlessness. And then the other thing is, if they are in creatorhood, it also usually refers to their connected to their
Yeah.
God. So they have a God. They believe in God. They know God. And they operate from God, from source. So, and I was saying this to a friend last time. I was like, if a man doesn't know God, move on. Because if he doesn't know God,
Just like that.
move on.
No chances, nothing.
Nothing.
Why?
Because A man who doesn't know God doesn't understand the design of God and cannot cherish the feminine for what she is. He cannot be devoted. He doesn't understand that he is here to be of service. He is separate, thinking he's here to be served and take from the world and play with people and throw this around and do this around and
Yeah.
whatever. He hasn't gotten it yet.
Well said.
Yet.
But so what do you think the best thing parents can do for their children, or how do you what's the best way they can prepare them? How's the best way so that they can prepare them so that they don't end up being like the men you just described?
They will end up in all sorts. Parents will do their best and as much as they possibly can. I think women have a very, very difficult duty. So we're born with purpose, but we have a very hard duty, which is to choose the right father for the children. That is why women are so like, oh my God, she's too much and she's just this. And can you just chill? No, I can't. I'm making the fucking, hardest decision of my life. I'm not going to chill. Get your ass up. Stop playing video games. Yeah. So you see, the man doesn't see it that way, but that's what it is. So she is making the hardest decision because every day in the eyes of her children, if she doesn't have a man who is a father fathering them right, she is seeing her failure for picking the right father. And that will haunt her. And
Forever.
that is difficult. So that is why a woman is scanning with her God-given scanner for, is this safe? Is this man safe? Is this man
Okay, speaking of that, would if you had that choice and you had a gut feeling, would you always trust your gut feeling?
Depends on the gut feeling. I think it's hard.
If that gut feeling told you that guy's a douchebag.
I trust my intuition. Gut, no.
Okay.
Gut, butterflies and all that stuff tells you stuff
It's
about
the same
people.
thing. You
No,
know
it's
what
not. It is not at all. That's trauma response. A lot of the time it's like, oh my God, I got there and I got that feeling. And I'm like, yeah, that's the feeling that keeps getting you in the same damn spot. Run. It's like, that's not the feeling you want to feel. So intuition is very different. Women usually, if they find a good balance, what they do is when they show up and they meet somebody, so they're on a date or whatever, they'll have the feminine and there's her masculine here invisibly by her side.
Yeah.
And the masculine, what he's doing is just saying, you just give me the sign and I'll take you. We're leaving. That's what he's saying. He's like, I'm here to protect you first, her masculine, and take care of you. If this doesn't feel right, let's get up and I'll take you up. A feminine, when she doesn't have her masculine, she will just stay because she's too scared to leave, to say no. She's going to be pleasing as opposed to listening to her heart, etc., etc. So, it is quite a
Okay.
we follow the gut. We follow the intuition.
But because I know that you're always an outdoor person.
I love the outdoors.
I know. I saw that. I was creeping through all of your content. Where would you say is your happy place?
Oh Lord, nature. Oh, a beach.
What
I
beach?
need water.
Which one? Any beach?
I need water. There's beautiful beaches around the world. Ibiza's gotten beautiful places. UAE, Saadiyat, amazing. I love Saadiyat Beach.
Kite Beach?
Yes, also, but Saadiyat Beach is they're special.
I like
also
Kite Beach is my happy place,
Really?
especially the sunset. There,
Oh,
it's
it's beautiful, yeah.
unreal.
Yeah.
What's your best memory as a child?
Woo!
We're gonna get a bit personal now, but like in a nice way.
Best memory as a child?
Yeah.
Wow. Why can't I think of that? I've got a few.
I'm sure you have
I've
that
got a
moment
few.
that's like you always look back and you're like, yeah, that was cool.
It's a bit of I'll share it. Who cares? Screw it. I used to love watermelon so much.
Okay.
Like watermelon's my thing, my favorite fruit. If it's crunchy, whatever. And my dad knew that I loved watermelon, and his way of loving my dad was to giving you things.
Yeah.
He's compensating for the lacks over here. Anyway, so he'd get him watermelon, and my mom would tell him, "Don't feed her watermelon at night because she's gonna end up being her bed." I was young, I was 4 years old. And my dad couldn't help it because I'm like, watermelon, watermelon. Watermelon. And he's like, okay. So he goes and he goes, don't tell your mom. Okay. Anyway, so I eat and then hit the bed, obviously, because I had so much of it. And then just so you know, so he comes in, my mom says to him, so you fed her watermelon? I was like, no. I didn't. Maybe she's, and then I said, he's lying. He fed me watermelon.
Oh my god.
So I sold him out.
You threw
Because,
your dad under the
yes, and I
bus.
was like, it's no good to lie. No good to lie. So I was like, I knew at a young age anyway. And he laughed so loud because he was like, my God, this kid, what am I going to do? So
That's
it's a
cute.
good memory. We all laughed.
That's a nice memory. Okay, so if you had to change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Ooh, change.
We all have our.
Oh, for sure. Not change, but maybe improve. What I'd like to improve about myself. Yeah, patience. I've been working on that. Patience and trust. I live fast, and I've always lived fast, and I want things fast, and I do things fast, and whatever. And I've slowed down so much because I started understanding that there's a different timing, and that's God's timing, and anything in between where you're stressing about it doesn't change anything about it other than your state of mind. So I've been learning to be a lot more patient. And when I see myself going on that speedy thing again, I'm like, okay, slow down. Slow down. Maybe you won't do it today.
Take a deep breath.
Maybe you won't get the answer tomorrow. It's okay. I'll come when it'll come. Maybe you won't get this finished when you wanted to, but you'll finish it. You'll finish it. Everything will get finished. And I kind of slow it down again. And yeah, but that's been a challenge in the past, like just having that patience. Like, but when? How? No, today it needs to be done. Yeah.
That's good. All right. So if you had to like looking into the camera, and if you had to say one thing to your mom and one thing to your dad, what would you tell them?
Wow, you're like, whoa, Oprah. Hello, Oprah. Get the tissues.
No, really. What would be one message that you tell your mom and your dad?
I'll tell them the same thing, which is, I love you guys. You did monuments and you made miracles happen. And I can see it. And I couldn't see it when I was younger. And I was angry. And I was blaming you in my teenage years and a little bit later after that. And then I really got to see all the miracles that you guys made happen. And it's unbelievable. And it's incredible. And what you guys did for me and my brother is just miraculous. And I wouldn't be who I am today if you didn't do all of the things that you did, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm so grateful, and I mean it. I am so grateful, and I don't hold anything or any grudge against you. On the contrary, I have so much love. And I feel it.
That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
And what would Rima tell her 20-year-old self?
Tell the 20-year-old self, get out of that company. It's been 2 months. No, what would she tell? Oh, what would she tell the 20-year-old self? My God, you're incredible. Stop doubting yourself. Like, stop doubting yourself. You walk with God. What are you afraid of? That's what I would say.
That's nice. Well, that brings us to the end of it.
That was amazing, Mohammed. I was going to
Really?
say Ahmed. Yeah, Mohammed. That was amazing. That was
I'm
really
glad you
amazing.
liked it. You
Thank
know, this is the
I feel like
longest.
I felt at home.
Good. I'm very happy that you
Yeah.
feel this way.
Is it
Well,
the
I'm so
longest?
happy. It's.
Got like
You know how long we've
hours?
been here for?
Yeah.
1 hour, 3 hours and a half,
Wow,
almost.
Okay.
I have never spent this amount of time with anyone
That's awesome.
ever,
That's
and
awesome.
talking for this long with anyone ever. So this is a very, very big statement.
That's
very
amazing.
big.
That's awesome. That's awesome.